Welcome to Mobility with Fitnixx. I'm going to show you some hip mobility that I like to do. So first we're going to start off with something that's kind of a dynamic stretch. So we're going to sit with our feet about hip width apart, almost 90 degrees at the knees. And we want to just let them fall to the side. And then if you need to kind of readjust so that your heel and your knee line up, then do that. Try to keep your hip and torso facing forward. So we're just going to slide the knees side to side. And you can go at your own pace and just kind of hold for a second at the bottom. Feel that stretch in the hips. You might feel it on the outside of the hips, or maybe on the inside, or maybe both. But just nice and gentle, side to side, trying to keep your torso facing forward. It will try to pull you side to side, but just try to be conscious of staying as close to center as possible. And then you want to do about 10 to 20, whatever kind of feels good, until you start to loosen those hips up. Now that we've gotten some blood flow to the area, they're starting to warm up. The mobility has increased. They don't feel so tight. So something else that we can do is sitting on our back. So we want to lay right back. I'm just going to move the mic pack here. And then we're going to put our right knee on our right ankle on our left knee and just let it fall to the side. You can get your arms out of the way, whether they're on the stomach or above your head. You're going to feel this up the back as well. But I like this because I really feel it in the hips. I do have tight hips. And just hold it for about 30 seconds. Focus on nice, deep breaths. And you can turn your head to the left to just exaggerate that stretch a little bit. Good. And then back to center. Switching sides. Right ankle, right knee, left ankle. And just let that leg fall to the side. Keeping the arms out of the way, however you like. And again, you can turn the head to the right. Just exaggerate that stretch a little bit. And again, you want to hold that for about 30 seconds. And a nice deep breaths throughout. The next one I'm going to show you, you're going to need a lacrosse ball or something small that is not squishy. So this is really hard. You can't squish it. And what we're going to do is first, you're going to find your hip bone and go 2 fingers below. Sometimes I'll lift my leg and you can feel the hip flexor kind of start to come up, that muscle there. Place the ball right there. And then you're going to roll onto the ball, but leaving this hip open. And just right on your stomach, you can just kind of rest your head on your arm and just nice deep breaths. You want to hold this for at least 30 seconds. Let that muscle start to relax. What we're doing here is allowing the fascia to stretch around the muscle. So now the muscle will be able to stretch. So if you're not sure what the fascia is almost like a wrapping, a saran wrap around your muscle. Or even think of like a sausage, that casing. That's what the fascia is around your muscle. So sometimes the muscle itself isn't tight, but the fascia is. So foam rolling, and this is kind of a myofascial release as well, to help release the fascia so that the muscles can actually expand, relax, And then if you want to get some quad in there too, you can just start to slowly bend the leg that ball is under and release, keeping the pressure on the ball because that's what's going to help release that fascia. And just nice deep breaths. This can be tender, it can be painful, so just deep breath. Through. So that was some myofascial release with a lacrosse ball for the hip flexor, and you can also get the quad involved because it does all attach in that same spot. So the quad and the hip flexor is now a little bit more released. I am going to do the other side just to balance it out. So remember, we're going to go find the hip bone, 2 fingers below, place the ball. Sometimes I lift. You can feel the hip flexor kind of pop up. Make sure you're putting that on the hip flexor. And then you're going to roll onto the ball. So let this arm go straight up. I open up my hip and all of the pressure is on the ball. And I just sit there for at least 30 seconds. Sometimes you can push yourself up, but you'll feel things differently. You want to try and relax as best as you can. So I'm going to come back down onto my arm here. And then again, you want to get some more quad. You can actually slowly bend that leg that the ball is on and slowly release. Again, nice deep breaths. Anytime you're doing any kind of passes like this, so I'm extending the leg, I'm moving through the stretch, try to do about 10 to 12. If you're just holding on a spot, you want to hold for at least 30 seconds to let that fascia fully release. And then the nice deep breathing really helps your muscles and your body relax. Good, so you can try those few things to kind of warm up the hips a little bit. And then, of course, you have your normal stretches. If you're doing some of the normal stretches that are more static stretches, so making sure that you're not moving, such as a runner's lunge, like so, you're actually kind of relaxing the muscle more. So foam rolling and dynamic movements are better for before your exercise. And then the static stretches are really great for after the exercise so that you can relax the muscle. And sometimes lifting that arm up and chest up, you'll get a bit more stretch through the abdomen, through the quad. You're going to feel this in a few different spots. And then you can do toe up or toe down, whatever feels more comfortable for you. And sometimes if that's a little hard on the knee, you can put an extra mat or a cushion or something to kind of help with that. And then same thing, just to even it out on the other side. And you want to be able to relax. If you feel like it's too much, take it back a little bit. If you feel like it's not enough, then you can add in that arm up and slightly bend back to get a bit more of a stretch. And again, you want to go deep breaths. Let the body relax. You may even find that you're able to get a little deeper into the stretch as you're holding that a little bit longer. And again, you want to always hold those stretches for at least 30 seconds. All right. Thank you for joining me for some mobility tips, and feel free to join in for some more. And those are, again, for your hips and some of your quad was also involved in there, but that lower body hip mobility, some things to help loosen up and warm up the hips before or after exercise.